afternoon, everyone. Approximately a year ago, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. And he indicated that he was going to bring about a golden age in this great country. What Donald Trump and the Republicans have done as a result of their toxic, extreme policies is bring about a rotten age in the United States of America. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history, hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers closing as a result of the Republican One Big Ugly Bill. Republicans are refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, and that's going to create a situation where tens of millions of everyday Americans will be unable to go see a doctor when they need one because their premiums are skyrocketing out of control, in some instances increasing by $1,000 or $2,000 per month. The Trump tariffs are making life more expensive for tens of millions of working class Americans. And the Trump administration has unleashed these lawless, masked ICE agents to brutalize American citizens, even resulting in the unjustified killing of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. 1 year later, the Trump administration has been a complete and total failure, and the American people know it. And Republicans haven't done a damn thing to make life better for working class Americans, everyday Americans, and middle class Americans. Despite promising that costs were going to go down on day one, costs haven't gone down in the United States of America. With Republican control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, costs have gone up. Inflation skyrocketing out of control. Housing costs out of control. Grocery costs out of control. Utility bills out of control. Child care costs out of control. And health care costs out of control. Everyday Americans are suffering under the oppressive nature of the Trump Republican economy. And it's time for some congressional action to actually keep your word as Republicans based on what you said you would do, which is to focus on addressing the high cost of living in this country. Instead, Republicans have consistently focused on rewarding their billionaire donors with massive tax breaks, and then engaging out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country. It's disgusting, and the American people know it. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Today, Congressman Thanedar said that he plans to introduce legislation to abolish ICE. How comfortable are you with members of your party pushing this?
I haven't had a conversation with the congressman on that particular piece of legislation, but our position has been clear that taxpayer dollars are being used by the Department of Homeland Security and ICE to brutalize American citizens and law-abiding American taxpayers in ways that the American people reject. The American people didn't sign up for what we're seeing on the streets of Minneapolis, in Chicagoland, or in other parts of the country. The American people thought that the Trump administration was going to target violent felons who are here in the country illegally. But instead, we see American citizens like Renee Nicole Good being gunned down in cold blood without justification. Taxpayer dollars are being used by the Department of Homeland Security and ICE to unleash extremism on the streets of America by individuals who are showing depraved indifference to human life. That's what we're seeing. That's what the American people are seeing. And the American people don't want their taxpayer dollars used in that fashion. And so as we approach the appropriations process related to Homeland Security funding, Democrats in the House and the Senate have demanded changes to the way in which ICE conducts itself, such that it falls into line with the standards, protocols, and behavior of every other law enforcement agency in the United States of America. ICE cannot conduct itself as if it's above the law. In America, no one is above the law. And these claims of absolute immunity are insane, absurd, and completely unfounded in law or in fact.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. So the Supreme Court today effectively gave candidates the right to sue to challenge voting laws that they disagree with. Considering how Republicans have continuously called for election reform, do you have any concerns that there could be a flurry of lawsuits brought by Republicans ahead of the 2026 midterms, challenging voting laws in different states?
We're assuming that Republicans are going to do everything possible to prevent a free and fair election from taking place in November of 2026. Why? Because Republicans know that if a free and fair election takes place, they're losing. In fact, Republicans are going to get routed all across the country, as we've repeatedly seen, including most recently in the off-year election in November and in the mayoral election in Miami, where a Democrat was elected in early December for the first time in almost 30 years. The whole reason why Republicans launched this failed gerrymandering scheme is because they know what we know. The American people are rejecting their extremism and embracing the Democratic vision for making life more affordable for everyday Americans. And so it's clear to me that though their gerrymandering scheme is crashing and burning, despite all the skeptics out there who thought that Democrats in the House were cooked somehow, as if we were going to step back. No, we didn't step back, we fought back. And they started this gerrymandering war. We're going to end it. And we're not going to allow Republicans to artificially maintain their majority in the House of Representatives. We're going to show up and stand up and speak up continuously for free and fair elections, and that's what the American people are going to get on November 3rd, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Since the House passed the 3-year ACA extension, you called on John Thune to, quote, stop playing procedural games that are jeopardizing the health, the safety, and the well-being of the American people. You said that there's a majority of votes in the Senate if the bill got to the floor. Are you calling for the Senate to get rid of the filibuster to bring forward this bill, since you say that it has the votes to pass if it made it to the floor?
The American people overwhelmingly support an extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. The House has passed, in a bipartisan way, legislation to make sure that those tax credits are restored for tens of millions of Americans, working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans who otherwise will be unable to go see a doctor when they need one. And these are in states all across the country, and disproportionately, red states will be the ones impacted by the failure to restore the Affordable Care Act tax credits. That's the reality. We're talking about states like West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, South Carolina, Texas, Alabama. These are the states that are adversely impacted, right at the top of the list. So this fight for us is not a partisan one, it's a patriotic one. We're standing up for everyday Americans. It's not red or blue, it's red, white, and blue, as far as we're concerned, in terms of the fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And the reality in the Senate is that a majority of senators, 47 Democrats and 4 Republicans, support a straightforward extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which means that the only thing standing in the way is that John Thune and Senate Republicans are hiding behind the filibuster.